When I have a class on the queen archetype and I start by telling every woman that she should think of herself as a good queen, I sometimes later hear those students referring to their male partner, their husband, their lover, their boyfriend, as their king. Be careful when calling your chosen man my king. And I understand if you think of yourself as a queen, and you should, it might seem very natural to you to think of him as king. Don't. Yes, the words king and queen seem to go together as a phrase because we've heard them so often. But in this culture, the two entities are not at all equal. The king is always first. The king is always dominant. To check and see for yourself if this is true, ask your tongue to say queen and king as a phrase. And it's kind of hard, isn't it? Why? Because we never say it that way, ever. King and queen, that's what rolls off our tongue. The king is always first on our tongues and in our minds, because we, as women, are conditioned. So are men. We are conditioned by, and we live in, a patriarchy, and male-centric thinking is the water in which we women must swim, at least for now. In a patriarchy, king is automatically understood to be more powerful a position than queen, and only chess reveals the truth about this. With very rare exceptions, when looking at your average heterosexual couple, when the male is a king and the woman is a queen, it is more or less accepted subliminally by everyone that as king, he is the power. He is the important one. He is the decision maker. And she is his queen, which in a patriarchy, the system under which our society is currently structured, means something more akin to important wife, or even in the case of countries where the king, the actual king of the country, might have many concubines, she might even be just the first wife, or even the lowest designation, wife of the important one. The queen herself may, yes, be an important entity, but in a patriarchy, if she has a king, she has someone in power over her. She is one down. In this context, the queen is not generally the decider of much, except maybe what china to use at state dinners. Thousands of years ago, in many cultures, a man could not even think about becoming king of anything without the prior vetting and validation of a powerful woman or priestess of the community or tribe. That need for the validation of a wise woman was eventually overturned by, well, let's face it, power-mad men set upon unhindered domination. A man could now become king through force alone. No woman's approval or even presence was required. He grabbed his kingship at the point of a sword with his own confidence, overweening confidence, bravado, and often sheer recklessness and disregard for everyone around him. And the only time he really needed a queen was to serve as his breeding stock for his male heir. Queen Elizabeth I, back in the Middle Ages, understood that she could not marry because in her incredibly male-dominated world, any man she took would automatically be given precedence in power over her. And she famously said, "I shall have one mistress here and no master." She knew. Queen Elizabeth II of our own time also knew. Note that Prince Philip, the longest running consort in British history, was from the very beginning never called king. Few know that Queen Elizabeth II she actually had the legal power from the very beginning to make Prince Philip the first king consort in England's history if she wanted to, but she never did. So he remained a prince and the Duke of Edinburgh, along with a bunch of other titles she gave him, probably to shore up his ego. I don't know. His technically correct title was Prince Consort until the day he died. In all the decades that they were married, Elizabeth never claimed him or identified him as her king. And that's how she retained her tremendous power over the course of her legendary run as queen. Calling your man king in this modern culture is problematic. Without realizing it, both the male and the female almost inevitably subtly buy into the idea of his power, not hers. Not even shared power equally. In a male-dominated culture, the king is automatically dominant. Call your man king, even in the privacy of your own home, and you are very possibly, very likely, giving him subliminal ideas about power and control that he should not have, unless he is a very unusual man. Oh, and yes, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's the exception to it all. We always like to think that the man we're involved with is unusual and special and different. He wouldn't act like that. Statistics say he is not different. Now, he might be the exception. I don't know. I don't know him. But be careful. You may not know or find out for many years. Most of the divorcing women I counsel thought at the beginning that their husband was special and different. So, what to do? Mature women are meant to lead families, lead communities, lead countries, lead entire civilizations with the help and support of a vetted few males, mature men who have pretty much learned to set aside their egos and their will to power. These are very wise, and as I say, usually mature, very wise, honorable, and well-intentioned men who respect and revere women as the natural guides for the vision of society. These are men who understand the natural spiritual authority and wisdom of woman and are happy to live well, as everybody else does, within that structure, because they also understand that in the end, everything is a spiritual matter. We women are meant to be true queens, taking responsibility for determining the standards, the values, the vision of an individual family, a tribe, a country, and expecting and accepting the full support of good men of these standards, values, and visions that we decide upon. We must carefully choose the men we welcome, the men we permit to be part of our realm. And what is a realm? A realm is anything a woman is 100% responsible for. And mind you, responsible for absolutely does not mean that she does all the work. No, no, no. It simply means that she is responsible for determining how things work in her realm. That's what makes her a queen. Delegation by the queen of any realm is key. The queen is not the overgiving, overworked mother. And we delve into that in other videos. Don't call your husband, lover, your romantic partner, my king. So what can you call him? Well, I have a few funny ideas. Maybe try my beloved consort. Nobody's exactly certain what the archaic word consort actually means or what a consort actually does. So this will momentarily flummox everybody, giving you time to change the subject. Or perhaps you can call him my, I don't know, esteemed general. It's kind of funny, but the word general has a powerful ring to it. And we remember that the queen of the land is the commander-in-chief and guides the values and actions of her generals. So yeah, he can be a general in your peace army. Or maybe you like my adjutant. I have no idea what an adjutant is. Do you? I have no idea. Or maybe my captain. Captain does sound like a man in charge of the ship, but remember, the queen is in charge of the fleet. How about my executive? That is important sounding and suitably vague. My co-conspirator or my accomplice, that'll give them something to think about. Or just go with the basic my partner. Partners can and do have differing levels of power behind the scenes. Partners are not necessarily always equal in everything, so partner can be appropriate. And remember, we are not talking about power over or domination. We are talking about maintaining your power as queen of a realm to determine the vision for your realm and the standards, the values, and actions that support that vision. You are responsible for reminding the people and the animals in your realm what vision you have all agreed to live by. Not satisfying your own ego whims by ordering people around willy-nilly. No, a good queen puts her ego aside for the most part and serves the greatest good for her realm. And if your man cannot agree to follow the vision that you've set forth, then he is not only not your king, he can no longer be your consort, and he needs to leave your realm pretty soon. What else could you call him besides king? Well, husband is common if he is indeed your husband, if you are married. And everyone pretty much knows what it means in this culture. But remember, husband comes from a root that means master of the house. What did Elizabeth say? I shall have no master here. Power is a tricky thing. Carolyn Myss teaches us, and rightly so, that absolutely everything in the human realm is a negotiation for power at some level. And many women might say, oh, but Ava, I want my romantic partner and I to be equal in every way. Well, then you better be a lesbian, because in a patriarchy, when a woman and man are equals, somehow the person with the penis always ends up being more equal. Good intentions are great, but remember, all our societal institutions, all our values, all our subconscious thinking is stacked up on the side of the male. 6,000 years of force, domination, oppression, and control loaded up on the side of the male to control the female. Oh, no, Ava, things are much more equal now. Oh, really? Can every woman in every state in this union freely control her own body and what grows in it? No, she cannot. Men have dictated what we women may do with our bodies. That's how things stand in culture today. The average man already thinks he's entitled to be your king. Those of us who want men as partners, as husbands, as lovers, want men to be masculine, whatever that means to you. But ideally, masculine should mean something more like strong, dependable, powerfully acting for the good of all, not dominant. Our being true and good queens holding the vision for life never emasculates a man. It is his privilege to find a good visionary queen to follow, a woman who powerfully holds a vision that he can believe in and support, and a woman who holds him to that vision when he starts messing up. Have a man if you like, but never have a master. You might be drawn to a powerful, controlling, dominant man if you're avoiding responsibility and you just want someone else to take over. Or, as is very common, if you have been struggling, as many women do in patriarchy for many, many years, just to make it, just to keep a roof over your head and groceries on the table, and you're just now so tired. I totally get it. But I guarantee you, after a while, you won't like it. It won't be worth it. And you know what? After a while, he won't like it either. Because secretly, men don't want a woman they can push around. Not for long. They are never happy with such a woman over the long haul. And when they realize that what they have is a woman who is weak or easily pushed around or has no boundaries or has no vision to offer him, they get angry. And we know what happens when the average man gets angry. What every man secretly really wants is a good queen. The queen is the archetype in woman to which a man can and will commit permanently. Someone to whom he can feel proud to offer his complete loyalty and resources forever. Take back your power, your good power to guide your family, your community, your culture. Be like Elizabeth. Both of them have one mistress, yourself, and no master here. Make him your consort, but not your king. Walk in the world as the queen you are. Blessed be.